learned to create income in a part-time basis. Again, he knows 100% of the information, very well documented, loves having fun. If it ain't fun, he ain't doing it. Right? Positioned to make a lot of money in our company and committed to helping create success. I love him like a brother because he happens to be my big brother. Y'all give it up for my big brother, four-star executive director, Mr. Richard Harn. Welcome to the call, sir. Welcome.
Come on,
Yeah,
Hawk.
come on. Let's
Yes.
go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yes.
The Hulk.
The Hawk is in the house.
Goodness, man. Listen, before I get started, first, let's check this mic. Is this microphone working okay for everybody?
We can hear you good.
Because I want to hear you, everybody hear me loud and clear that Chuck Harden just surgically dissected that presentation, delivered it in a way that reflected confidence and consistency all at the same time with a glitchy computer. I mean, I don't know if people understand what it's like to work and present through adversity, but before I get started with training, how we get the wealth equation going to work for us in our lives, y'all give it up for the #1 regional director in Make Wealth Real. That's none other than my brother, Chuck.
Hollywood.
All right, Hollywood.
Thank you very much.
Good job, man.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I have a goal today. I want to do two things at once. I want to train how to get this business off to what has been proven the fastest, most powerful, most practical way to get everything that Make Wealth Real has to offer.
Okay.
And as I was preparing for this training, when Chuck and I talked about it earlier this afternoon, one of the things that occurred to me was one of the times I got in my car. Has anybody ever gotten in their car in a hurry?
All the time.
You know, you had to be somewhere at 12 and you got in your car at 11:50 and it was 30 minutes away.
Wait a minute.
Like the math was not math. And then you shift the car into gear, put on the gas, and the car didn't go anywhere. What was the problem?
You left the key.
That emergency brake.
No gas.
You gotta do things in an order of operation that gets you the most results in this business and in life. And earlier today, I was listening to one of my mentors, and he talked about what he would do. What would you do? I mean, man's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. What would you do if you lost everything today? How would you get your wealth back? And he laid out a wealth equation that's so spot on that I started talking about it right away. So before I jump into the tool set and the skill set of Make Wealth Real, let's talk about the wealth equation. Is that okay? So if you're taking notes, put that in your notes. That's the title of this training. It is the wealth equation. And as I jump into my slides, it's ironic when you get on a vibe, when you get on a vibrational wavelength. Hang on, is that in full screen for y'all?
Yep.
Yeah,
The
but
wealth
it's
equation
ultimately full screen.
is the calculus of cash flow, meaning as a valedictorian of my high school class, somebody went off to Duke University. What I can admit honestly is that school did not teach me how to become wealthy. We had to go out on an individual search for wealth, yes or yes.
Yes.
And if they had offered this class, just this breakdown, this would have been worth the full scholarship to Duke University. Because in all honesty, I could teach you the words to say, the steps to take in the order that they have to happen. But if you didn't get these three things in order, just in order to create wealth real, we first have to agree on a definition. When I went in search of knowledge, information, practical proven steps on wealth, one of my first mentors was Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In that book, he says, wealth, number of days you can survive without physically working. You or anyone in your household physically working and still maintain your standard of living. How many of you would love to be wealthy at your current level? Meaning, just imagine what your life would be like if you make all the money you make right now from something that has nothing to do with you. Like if your days weren't dominated with the things that put the money in the bank, but something other than you was in charge of making the money. That's the goal of our company. Make Wealth Real gives a skill set and a tool set for producing income producing assets. Put that in your notes, assets. Secret to wealth is not how much money you make, it's how much money your money makes while you're not working. And when it comes to the wealth equation, it's multiplication. It's mindset times skill set times tool set equals asset. If you take your mindset, multiply it by the skills that you have, and put the right tools in place, you can create assets on demand, inside or outside, make wealth real. But what I learned is the emergency brake in most of our lives is that mindset. See, our mind is set on whatever has set up the circumstances that we live in right now today. And if I'm going to upgrade your ability to create wealth, it would be a sin and a shame for me to teach you step by step, word for word, the words that have created wealth without having you get the perspective that you need to have the identity of someone who does those things. So in order to change your mindset, because the mindset is like a thermostat, you got a choice in life. You can be a thermostat or a thermometer. What does a thermometer do?
Tell the temperature in the room.
It tells you what temperature
Tells
is
you
in
the
the room. But the thermostat sets the temperature and continually adjusts until you get to the point you're set at. Here's a challenge. If you're not wealthy right now, your thermostat, your mindset is still set at a different level, and we got to turn on the blowers to get the temperature down. Does that make sense? Three things that change. Three things: perspective, perception, persuasion. I put my bullet points on a slide so that I would remember them. Perspective, perception, persuasion. First thing that you got to change when it comes to making wealth real is that mindset. The perspective from which we see a thing impacts our ability to do anything. Meaning, it was Henry Ford that said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
You're right.
So the first thing that we have to accept is two things. There's a reason that we come together as a group to create wealth, because it's impossible for any person to ethically get rich without enriching other people. I didn't make that up. That was great Earl Nightingale, but it's so true. But when we come together, we increase our power and our ability to have a different perspective than the people around us. Because how many of you know the people around you affect and infect your perspective? Now, the second thing, perspective is just, there's two sides to every object, right? There's two sides to a sheet of paper, two sides to the equation. Choose the positive side that votes in favor of your wealth creation, because most people, when it comes to what they perceive, put this in your notes, what you perceive becomes your belief level. So we go from perspective to perception. They're different. Here's what most people believe. They believe that they lack either the knowledge, the skill, or the connections to create wealth. Yes or yes? They believe more in their lack than in their leverage. But leverage in everything that we do, leverage in others' expertise, leverage of other people's time, leverage of other people's money, are the tools that make wealth real, make available to us, that are not available to most people unless they find out from us. And then the last thing in terms of mindset you got to change is your persuasion. And I'm not talking about your ability to twist arms and persuade and convince other people. I'm talking about you. Enthusiasm is possibly the most powerful force in the universe, because the word breaks down in two pieces. Enthus comes from the Latin root entheos, meaning God within. And IASM that comes on the end is I am sold myself. See, this is my mountain. I'm going to climb this mountain, and you're either going to find me on the top or dead on the side. But what you're not going to do is convince me to wallow down here in the valley. I am persuaded that I'm going to the top. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So now that we got our mindset, and this is what you got to do. You got to daily cultivate your mindset. You got to cultivate your mindset like a garden. Because just like any fertile ground, if you do not carefully prune and get the weeds out, they will grow anyway. Anybody ever let their grass, especially in Georgia this summer, you let your grass grow for 2 weeks straight the way the rain has been pouring in. Whatever's out there is going to grow. Challenge is perfectly manicured lawns don't grow. They're cultivated. They got to get weeded. They got to get trimmed up. They got to get the stuff out. We got to do the same thing with our minds. And then we go to upgrade our skills. So I'm going to go quickly through skills, and then I'm going to teach some specific skills for this game plan. Is that okay?
Yes, indeed.
Comes to once you got your mind in order, you still have to get the skills that pay the bills. Yes.
Yes.
And when it comes to skills, there's actually a hierarchy of skill development in terms of which skills make the most money. So I focus on the ability to develop and sharpen these skills every day. Say it, somebody say every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Focus on first your imagination and second your communication. If you don't focus on anything else in this list, it's imagination, communication, unification, and implementation. But why imagination? See, imagination is the ground in which you can see a fertile reality where you have twice the amount of money coming into your life as cash flow as the demands of your life give you. The challenge with most people is they use their ultimate superpower, the ability to see things. What do you say? See things that aren't as though they were. And we use our superpower for evil instead of good. Instead of imagining a world where, because we have been willing to share our gift, our blessing, and our message, and thousands of people have been attracted to make wealth real with you, people imagine that I can't call that person. They probably busy cooking cabbage. I could not possibly reach out to Siobhan. Her fish probably has swimming lessons. But it's that imagination that we have to turn and use for our good, because we get to imagine anything. This is our mind, and we're setting it on what? Wealth.
Wealth.
Setting it on winning. Setting it on abundance, not on lack, not on the lies, but on the possibility that something major can happen. Now, the second thing that you got to work on is your communication skills. Here's the simplest hack in the world for improving your communication skills. 1, read more. Read every day. Even if you have to have an audio book so the words aren't coming by your eyes, make sure they're coming into your ears and into your mind from choices that you make, because there is a social media world out there that's programmed to get you knocked off track. Does everybody agree? It's to keep you in that app.
Yes.
Not collecting apps. So make sure that you intentionally find something positive that focuses on you, what you want to know, and what you want to read. I just told William about a book I read last week. I don't get any commissions from recommending the author, but it's called The Positive Energy Bus. Quick 2-hour listen. I listened to it 3 times in the last week and felt a shift in my energy, because the only thing that changes life for anyone, put this in your notes, it's your energy.
Facts.
If you want to change your body,
Absolutely.
you got to increase your energy level. If you want to improve your relationships, become more energetic. If you want your business to improve, get on the positive energy bus, put yourself in the driver's seat, and go to every stop and pick up the people that want to get on. And let everybody else walk. Read more and write more, because when you read more, it gives you more words with which you are able to communicate your message, and specificity. Being able to specify what a thing is one of the best ways to have people understand your gift. Am I make here? What they say? They say that you can speak without thinking, but you can't think without words. Anybody ever spoken without without thinking, like, oh my God, can't believe I said that. But having more words gives you more power to do the next most powerful step. It's called unification in the skills hierarchy, but it's leadership. Leadership is that third area. So if you're going to read and write about something, it's pretty good to read and write about leadership. Yes.
Yes.
But especially now, I'm talking about personal leadership. Because put in your notes, unification, unifying your desires and your expectations. Because how many of you know we don't get in life what we want, we get what we expect.
Mm.
I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. How many of you know somebody that wants to lose 10 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
They want to lose 10 pounds. How many of you have seen that same person with chicken wings, crinkle cut fries, and a strong beverage right after they said they want to lose 10 pounds?
Yeah.
See, they desire a good thing, but they also expect to be able to escape into what was their normal. And they say a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let's get these desires and expectations in line with each other. We can't both simultaneously want to be the gossip columnist and in our quest for abundance, there's just not enough time in our day to balance that desire and expectation. Making sense?
Mm-hmm.
And last one is implementation. It's the desire and ability to get things done, to do what you know. How many of you know how to do a thing that you've not yet done in this business, if you're honest with yourself?
Yeah.
How many of you made some investments in a personal development and self-help and have turned that investment into shelf help? It's just over there dusty. You own the book, but the book isn't inside you. Making sense? And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me, I'm saying there is more that we have to bring to the table, and we have to constantly refining our mindset and our skill set. And that leads us to the ability to really take advantage of the tool set. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. So recapping.
Absolutely.
So mindset, skill set. Now, what are the tools? The tools, the first and foremost, is just understanding in the MWR membership, we have a comprehensive financial toolkit with the right tool for most financial challenges that people need to meet. Meaning, if you think about it, every tool set, whatever you want to change in your life, these are the things that you're going to need outside of you. If you could do it by yourself, you would have already done it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever area of your life you want to change. So right now I'm talking about MWR, but if you want to change your health, if you want to change your relationships, you need some coaching, somebody to collaborate with you and hold you accountable, a community of people. You got to understand the language that you speak is always affected by the language and ideas of the people that you surround yourself with. Here's the frank reality that all of us have to face on this Zoom is when we get off this Zoom, we're probably the only one in our home that was thinking about making wealth real.
Mm.
So we got to make sure to come back together so that we can be in the world, but not of the world, because 97% of people in America, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, end up in a category called not wealthy. And then the last one is commitment. And if you think about this, shift, increase, multiply, protect, and leverage everything. Those are the tools. But you got to have the mindset to put yourself in a place where you're constantly upgrading your ability to see opportunities to use the tools. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
You got to upgrade your skill set so that you communicate to people that these things are available and invite them on the journey to make wealth real with you, because this is not about you. It's not about any individual person, but all of the people that we get to teach as we reach to make wealth real and make wealth simple for people to acquire. And that's now we'll transition, shift, increase, multiply, protect, and leverage everything. Before I start that, was that helpful?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. It's
absolutely. It's
very
very
well laid out.